Hi everyone. This is third lecture in our Sociology Current series. So we will start with a very important topic that is menstrual hygiene and the Mahakumbh Mela. One of the episodes which caught the eye of several newspapers was that the viral video of a woman distributing free sanitary pads at the Mahakumbh Mela. This went viral because it highlighted that the government initiative, which is there to promote menstrual hygiene at a spiritual gathering in Prayagraj. Religion plus social reform. What a wonderful example. This can be quoted in your answer. Specifically in religion, women, women specifically in stratification. Okay. Now, this move represents a significant shift in the social cultural landscape of India because there was a taboo surrounding menstruation for thousands of years in India. So, this is breaking that. This is the picture of that. This is New India. Now, if I have to analyze this sociologically, then first I will see the feminist perspective. So, menstruation, there was a stigma attached to it. And that stigma was leading to a kind of exclusion. Exclusion in hierarchy, you must have read in social stratification. Exclusion means because of some attributes, it can be social, it is mostly socially constructed. Even if there is some physical differences, when there is a value attached to it, then only exclusion happens. So, because of this menstrual cycles, there was a long exclusion of women from religious spaces. You must have read about the Sabrimala. Okay. And there was not only Sabrimala, there were thousands of such temples. Now, this introduction of free sanitary pads at Kumbh Mela challenges these taboos and foster gender inclusivity. Okay, and it's a kind of fundamental right, not a source of impurity. This aligns with the feminist movement advocating for bodily autonomy and equal participation in all spheres of life, including religious and public spaces. If I have to now apply a very important theory, that is Durkheim's sacred and profane. So Durkheim's concept of sacred and profane explained how society categorizes aspects of life. Certain things will be revered, certain things will be forbidden. Okay. Religious spaces like Kumbh Mela are considered sacred, while menstruation is viewed as impure or profane historically. Now, this initiative blurs the rigid boundary between sacred and profane by normalizing menstruation with the major religious events. Okay. Another important theory which I can apply is social change theory. So the initiative is reflecting a kind of a broader modernization process. Modernization is rationalization, rationalization of social institutions and processes. Because now gradually there is an adoption of scientific and human rights perspective. Okay. Also, as media highlighted it, so you can include this example in role of media in social change as well. Okay. As due to the virality of this will also help in changing the public discourse and will increase the acceptance as well as awareness of menstrual hygiene as a legitimate public health concern. Now, if I have to apply another very important strand, that is functionalism. So, society functions best when everyone has dignity, everyone has access to essential resources. So, this initiative is addressing an important public health need, ensuring women at Kumbh Mela can manage menstruation hygiene. No? So, this is very important. It will also help in increasing social cohesion. Exclusion doesn't increase social cohesion. And it is also a symbol of progress. So now you can also conclude that this initiative is representing a progressive step towards dignity and inclusivity. And it is challenging menstrual taboos redefining cultural boundaries, and promoting social acceptance of menstruation as a natural biological process. Okay, by addressing menstrual hygiene at a major religious event. It is also fostering gender empowerment, public health awareness, and social progress in the nation. Okay, now let's see the next important current affairs for May 2025. Now, men and the fight against gender based violence. So, there was an article which was highlighting the role of men in eliminating gender based violence. So, it was emphasizing how social structure, cultural norms, and individual behavior is contributing to either reinforcing or dismantling gender inequality. Okay, so let's delve deep into this. This was the article Transforming Mentalities, Redefining Masculinity. Okay, now let's analyze it sociologically. Now, gender, socialization, and masculinities. Social institutions, when we are born, social institutions like family, education, and media is instilling a rigid gender role from an early age, right? From providing the different kinds of toys. The boys will be provided a gun, girls will be provided a Barbie doll, or also no kitchen equipments, toys. You must have seen it. Small stoves, small cylinders, small. No, this is what? This is inculcating gender roles from the early age. Now, there is a very important theory which is known as Connell's theory of hegemonic masculinity. Connell's theory of hegemonic masculinity. It is explaining how dominant ideas of manhood marginalize women and subordinate men who do not conform. Okay, you must have heard nowadays reel of Sigma male. Who is Sigma male? Sigma male is one who is who has a ego, a man ego, who is not so much respecting the women. He is a Sigma, according to the toxic social media culture. Okay, Sigma male is not the one who is working in a modernized and rational way, who is blurring these kind of stereotypes. Sigma male is not the one who is having egalitarian values, but having toxic masculinity. है ना? There are programs such as Mardon Wali Baat challenges toxic masculinity by promoting alternative, healthier models of masculinity. You must have heard that a person who knows cooking or a man who deliberately wants to work at home and her wife is working, what are the names that are given in you must have heard terms like Joru ka gulam in Hindi. These are terminologies used. You know, these are he's named and shamed as if he's not a man. This you must have seen surrounding you. Now let's see if we will apply the structural functionalism theory. Now, traditional gender roles is historically contributing to a social stability, where the man is a breadwinner and women as a caregiver. Okay, but in modern society, these roles have become dysfunctional. Nowadays, if you are living in a urban center, there is so much of inflation that you cannot sustain without both husband and wife working. It's very difficult to even provide a quality education to your children. Now, there are initiatives like GEMS help redefine gender expectation, ensuring alignment with contemporary need. This is the need of the hour. Now, we can also apply conflict theory and patriarchy. So, what is patriarchy? It is a system of power that benefits men at the expense of women, as simple as that. Often reinforced by economic structures, economic inequality, whether it is in wage gap, whether it is in field polarization, or whether it is in invisible glass ceiling, which is not allowing women to reach at the top. Now, Marxist feminists argue that capitalism and patriarchy are intersecting. This is capitalism, this is patriarchy. Capitalism and patriarchy. Intersecting, keeping women subordinate in both Workforce, workforce capitalism is doing, and patriarchy is doing at home. Now, there are programs like Hamari Shadi. This disrupts these patterns by advocating for shared responsibility in marriage and decision making. You can also apply symbolic interactionism. Now, gender norms are reinforced through daily interactions and cultural symbols, shaping individual identities. You must have read now those memes, heard or seen the scooty memes. Girls cannot drive. Girls are driving fighter planes, aeroplanes, and whatnot. You are selectively bringing video out of 70 to 75 crore women living in the country, selectively taking 10, 12 clips and generalizing that women cannot drive. There are initiatives like They Create. It aims to shift societal attitudes by encouraging men to adopt caregiving roles, gradually transforming social perception. Now, there is another theory which you can apply, a role model and social capital. So positive male role models influence younger generation, creating aspirational masculinity based on respect and equality. Ayushman Purana had no had given an interview in which he had said that how when his wife was suffering from cancer and how he was taking care and all of this. So this is a kind of a positive influence. Okay, you can always apply this gentleman's concept. Here, Bourdieu's concept of social capital explain how these gender norms, once widely accepted, can lead to long-term societal change. Okay, you can have a way forward as well, like intersectional approach. You have to see the social, the economical, the political aspects. Now, intersectional approaches that a rural women, a daily wage earner, rural women belonging to SC or ST community is further marginalized. So they have to be given the highest priority. And one is very, very important is educational reforms. So gender equality and non-violence education from an early age. Now, a boy should be sensitized, sensitized. That girls are not someone coming from no, from another planet. You have to sensitize. There has to be gender sensitive education. There can be community-led initiatives, strengthening grassroots movement to create lasting behavioral change. One of the positive thing which I had seen while I was in the state of Tamil Nadu, when I went from Delhi, there was a cultural shock for me in a positive manner that I saw women riding mopeds, motorcycle, and their husbands were sitting in the back seat. Now, that particular positive image made me understand a couple of years later that why the economic position of, say, for example, Tamil Nadu or Kerala or even Andhra Pradesh is better than states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. Why? Because the participation of women and the dignity of women is being preserved in a better manner in these societies. And that is why the per capita income or the human development indicators are far, far better in these southern states. Specifically, I have been to Tamil Nadu for 4 years, so I know that the participation, I have seen women bus drivers, and not a rare examples, but this was something which I had observed at least 10, 12 times, which is just next to impossible and even in our national capital. Okay. Now we will see another very, very, very important piece of article that is women's workforce participation in union budget, a sociological perspective. Now you must have seen that women's organization they are calling for increased participation. Specifically, now I believe that there is a dire need of increasing women's participation in policing because now the policing in majority of the states is seen as masculine, not having gender sensitivity specifically towards the crime against women. Now, any crime against women starts from a very small event. Okay, small event is like a it can be like someone is trying to go behind a girl who is coming from school. It will start from here. Then it will go to eve teasing. If things are not stopped at this level, it can go to the level of rape, acid attack, and whatnot. So it has to be stopped here. It has to be stopped here. And police has to play a vital role in it. And second is the political participation. It is so abysmal. Now, labor force participation rate, you must have seen that how there is a wide gap. This has been observed. Now, every time if you will see this report, you will find this. Now, the current scenario is that this is an old report. Please update the data. Okay. So the current LFPR, there will be always a gap. So the context remains same. Now, gender budget allocation increased to 3 lakh crore in financial year 25, signaling a policy commitment to women's welfare. There are structural barriers. Like ILO says, no, there is a wage gap. There is unpaid care work and lack of secure employment and limits women's participation. Caregiving is seen as something which is not so important. Okay. Nowadays, when there are working women and both the partners are working for caregiving, you are spending a lot of money and still cannot have that kind of parity. So that was the role that our mothers played, but their roles were always downplayed. Okay, you must have seen the reels of na men trying to pull a cart. Is these are old days when he's doing this for the family. Have you seen the image of pregnant women plucking the tea leaves in Darjeeling and other regions, Assam and West Bengal? Have you seen that image? That's how a mother nourishes the entire society. And just giving the birth of a child, she bears unbearable pain. So the role of mother is immense. That's why Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had said that if you want to change a society, the role of mother has to be prominent in that. She's the first school. You can analyze it sociologically. Radical feminists argue that economic structures remain male dominated, with women confined to secondary labor market. Okay. And liberal feminism emphasizes policy driven solutions. There is also a dual burden, Erle Hosstein, I always say and quote this. Paid and unpaid labor stressing the need for state intervention in caregiving support. You must have also heard the theory of Karuna Ahmed. No, she had given this pink colorization, where women are working in certain sectors like nursing, teaching, feminine roles, feminine roles. Okay. Conflict theories, as I told you, capitalism and patriarchy are reinforcing each other. But there are schemes like Mudra Yojana, PM Swanidhi that can help redistribute economic power by promoting women's entrepreneurship and financial independence. Okay, so we can always apply symbolic interactionism. Social norms say perception about appropriate careers for women, often limiting their access to STEM fields. You must have heard, na, if there is one daughter, one son is often made a doctor, engineer, and daughters are like they are na mostly. I have seen humanity पढ़ लो, either you do JVT, B.Ed, or do PhD, become a teacher. This is something which is very acceptable in society. There can be Now, reforms which can be done, like targeted skilling and livelihood programs, investment in the care economy, robust monitoring and evaluation. Schemes are there, na, Lakpati Didi and Mudra Yojana. Okay. Can conclude that while gender budgeting has expanded a sharper focus on employment-linked incentive, quality jobs and workplace support systems are needed. They can significantly boost women's workforce participation, fostering inclusive economic growth. Now, there was a term of the year, Oxford, brain rot. Very, very important. Brain rot, you all are facing this. Scrolling endlessly reels after reels. You start with that. I will now watch reels for 10 minutes just for mood fresh. That 10 minutes becomes 100 minutes. You are not mindful of it. Okay. And now you are watching content that has nothing to learn. That's just bombarding similar kinds of vague content that is killing your attention span and also your ability to think. Both the things. Meaning, so brain rot refers to the cognitive and emotional decline caused by prolonged exposure to low quality, addictive, or misleading content, especially on social media. It manifests as first, critical thinking will be reduced and your attention span. Okay, nowadays, how many of you can read a book? Very, very difficult. Spread of misinformation and stereotypes. And as I always say, echo chamber effect. If you are watching a misogynist content, or if you are watching a hate content against male, this will get repeated. A bubble will develop. And now this is sad, na, ki what is very, very bad in India is we make perception in bulk. This region people is bad. That region people are now dishonest. This region people are uneducated. This region people are uncultured. This region people are patriarchal. This is called as making opinion in bulk. And this gets strengthened through brain rot. Now, mental exhaustion and anxiety, because it will lead to stress. Now, passive consumption over active engagement, users are becoming consumer. You're consuming rather than producing ideas. Now, there are sociological perspectives which you can apply. The first and very important is risk society. Very, very important theory of Ulrich Beck. Now, digital information overload creates mental distress, contributing to rising depression in societies. There is another important theory of Howard Baker, labeling theory. So misinformation spreads, propaganda, reinforcing negative labels, and deepening social division. You must have seen a caste-based songs, content, religion-based, region-based. Society theory of Iman Durkheim, if I want to apply, excessive social media use fosters fatalistic society, where individuals feel trapped in overwhelming digital reality. They think that digital world is the reality. They are not living in the world, the social reality. And there is a male gaze theory of Laura Mulvey. So women are objectified in digital content, reinforcing gender stereotypes and eroding dignity. How many times you will see that algorithm is throwing you a woman who is scientist? Most of the time, they will show you where women is dancing, no, or a content which is lustful, just making her a commodity. And deep fake and misinformation. So the difficulty in verifying online content weakens trust in institutions and governance, leading to political and social instability. There is also a rising mental health crisis. Anxiety, depression is increasing. Now we have a lot of youth. If they are suffering from this, then focus and productivity decline. Globalization, the theory of Anthony Giddens, the digital era accelerates brain rot by exposing individuals to unfiltered global content at an unprecedented scale. Another theory which you can apply is the network society of Manuel Castells. So social media fosters hyperconnectivity while reducing real life interactions leading to social disconnections. Okay. Mass consumption, another theory of Thorstein Veblen. User is engaging in mindless content consumption, prioritizing entertainment over knowledge. Knowledge कहाँ से मिलेगी? By watching reels and all these rubbish content. Knowledge will come by reading books, doing activity, not by passively consuming things. And it reinforces patriarchy, casteism, and AI generated misogynist content is also there. Women should be a homemaker, all of these kind of content is there. Stereotyping, gender, gendered role. If some crime is done by a woman, it is highlighted like anything. Okay. Then there is a mob mentality. Viral trends manipulate users into adopting extreme views, whether it is a political propaganda or fueling anti-immigrant sentiments or anti-minority sentiments or anti-depressed caste sentiment. And there is a social isolation. Excessive screen time weakens family bonds and fosters digital addiction. Materialism and causticous consumption, again Veblen's theory. So influencer culture is there, marketing, aggressive marketing strategy, unnecessary purchases, fueling hyperlapse consumerism. Hyperlapse consumerism, you are buying things, just hoarding things. You also don't know what you have bought, what is its utility. You even don't know. Just you are buying the commodities to prove that you belong to a upper strata. Crime and deviance, theory of Antonio Gramsci, that online anonymity, embodies hate speech, cyberbullying, ideological conflicts, where dominant digital ideology suppresses creative thinking. You must have seen yourself that telegrams, random telegram groups are made and they target some faculty, some some telegram founders, some girls, some 300, 400 people will start abusing it. Why it is possible? Because anonymity. That person is in front of you, can't speak and utter a word. That is the keyboard warriors. If they are standing in front of you, they can't utter a word. This is the reality. They are doing all of this because online anonymity is providing them this. Okay. Conclusion is brain rot is a byproduct of the digital age, reinforcing inequalities, mental health crisis, and ideological division. Addressing it requires media literacy, critical thinking, education, responsible digital governance to prevent social fragmentation. All the contents which are racial, gendered, etc., should be removed. There should be no place for caste, religion, and divide. And there should be a collaboration between social media platforms, government, and citizen to remove all such kind of content. And algorithms should be gender sensitive. So this is what I wanted to say. If you want to take the entire series of lectures, which will help you, this content is not something which can be taught in any of the class because these are the articles which I collected throughout a year from the newspapers, from the press information bureau, and from the popular culture also what is going on, which inspires the UPSC questions. So if you want the entire magazines and entire lecture, you can enroll in Sociology Current Series. I can bet that this will change your entire future in specifically Sociology Paper 2 and as well as in Sociology Paper 1. You will have examples to write, and which is very important ingredient if you want to score 280 plus. Because these all contents I have personally read, arranged, and then I am trying to connect the current affairs with the static concepts. I hope it helped you. Thank you very much. Take care. Best wishes.